take a giant like waffle iron, you smash the earth in that, and then you pull out some little handles on the side. That's very roughly what Alaska looks like.
The shape of Maryland to me looks like a puzzle. You know, just stick it back on a thing.
Georgia doesn't look like much on a map. It's like a messed up square with a squiggly line.
We're like a trapezoid with a bite out of it.
I'd say it's almost like a weird boot.
Montana's shape is a rectangle.
It's shaped like a really unfortunate boot.
And then it's got a nice little boot, which goes well with Montana because there are many cowboys there.
You've got a cowboy boot on bottom, and you've got a cowboy boot kind of to the side, and then the top is a rectangle.
If a rectangle and a triangle were to have a baby, it would be Nevada.
Basically, it is the shape of a mitten, if you want to draw a really rough sketch of what Maine looks like.
Idaho's shape is thin with a panhandle up top, and it gets fat toward the bottom. If you turn it to the side, it looks like a handgun.
So part of the state is square, and there's a little part of it that has some like curve and like some action.
It's like a pan, like a rectangular pan, so it's like a little handle.
Well, it's famous for the panhandle, right?
Like you've got the box and then the little box on top, and then you have the little squiggle that is the Great Salt Lake, and I'm like, that's me. That's my hometown.
Iowa is sort of like a rectangle with a nose on the side.
New Jersey's like the profile of a head and torso.
We like to say that it looks like somebody took a bite out of a chocolate bar.
New Hampshire's shaped like a triangle, kind of the opposite of Vermont in every way.
The shape of Vermont is like a rectangle that got bitten by a shark.
Michigan's shape, which I think is the best shape, is a mitten.
It is shaped a little bit like a shoe, so it's got a little point on one side, and then the part that faces out towards the ocean is a bit wider. And then on the outside of that, there's a very important series of barrier islands, and that's where you should go on vacation.
New Mexico is a bit like a rectangle with a little extra piece at the bottom left-hand corner.
It's the mountain state, kind of looks like a mountain.
I can't even describe how New York is shaped. I haven't looked at that map in quite some time.
Colorado is almost a perfect square.
Which kind of speaks a lot to, I think, the early culture of Arizona.
The shape of Oregon would be square-ish.
That kind of gets a little more pointy at the bottom.
Like a trapezoidal capsule with erosion.
It's a morphed parallelogram, if you will.
It looks like something I failed to identify in geometry.
Connecticut is like a rectangle with a tail at the bottom.
It's like a thick waffle, and then it goes like a little triangle here, and I think this one's like a triangle down.
Canada's kind of where we drew the line. We're like, no, we need like a real border. And everywhere else, it's like a lake or a mountain or something kind of like cuts it off from all the other states.
California is kind of like the shape of a boomerang.
So you have a big one down here, it looks kind of like a funky triangle, and then you got kind of longer ones right about here, and then where I'm from, you have this little dot up in the corner.
Massachusetts is kind of like a square, but then with Cape Cod and the rest of it jutting out at the end, like a little arm gesture like that.
The shape of Alabama looks like a pork chop.
It's kind of like an L.
It's just a big little spot with a lot of little other spots around it. Kind of looks like an acne flare-up or something.
The shape of Virginia is like a lopsided triangle.
North Dakota is really easy to draw because it's a rectangle.
Looks like this.
Like a real stocky, wide cow.
South Carolina's like a upside down short pizza slice.
So actually the entire Midwest is supposed to represent a chef, and the state of Minnesota is the top of the chef's hat.
Okay, so the shape of Florida, it's like a panhandle, right? So it goes here, and then it just kind of drops like that.
It's sort of like this. I believe there was a war that the bastards of Michigan won where they took the Upper Peninsula, even though I think it makes more sense for it to be part of Wisconsin. And if I was a violent man, I would condone trying to take it back, but I don't. I think it's too late.